Kim Jong-un has said he's willing to come to the table to talk about nuclear disarmament for a lifetime pass at Disneyland. The surprising announcement came during talks between them, the USA and South Korea, where somebody just sat down and asked him what he'd like in return for being non-nuclear, which apparently no one had ever done before. And he just simply said, a lifetime pass to Disneyland. Which is certainly something that can be organised. The official US delegation thought. However, upon emailing Disney, they've been told they'll have to wait till Monday for a response. Despite the email subject line being OMG, world peace possible, and it was marked urgent, a US Army general who said they no longer thought that the British Army was a top-level fighting force has been challenged to a 1v1 Rust battle. Top British Army general who wished to remain anonymous said, I can't stand by and watch some former colony slander our world-renowned forces like that. So he's thrown down the gauntlet to the US general. Obviously, they won't do any actual fighting, West supports West and all that. So the fighting will take place virtually on Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, a classic of the genre. The battle will commence on February the 28th, giving both generals time to practice their quickscoping skills. The US general will receive support from the pro team Atlanta FaZe, whilst the British general will receive tips from the British pro team Splice. The Home Office has shelved plans to house asylum seekers in Southport Pontins. In a statement they said, after reviewing the proposal, we've decided not to move ahead with the plans. We thought that it was unfair that refugees fleeing hell-like situations from war-torn countries beyond our comprehension should then have to contend with Southport, let alone Pontins. Upon inspecting the premises with some of the asylum seekers, one described it as God's fucked up side project he must have done on the 8th day, because this was clearly never in the 7-day vision he originally had. With many more in fact asking if the Rwanda plan was still a viable option. Shamima Begum has been told that she will be able to return to the UK as a full citizen if she wins Total Wipeout. The 22-year-old has been appealing the decision to remove her citizenship, and the court has finally agreed she can have it back if she completes the full Total Wipeout course. Unfortunately, if she does not manage to win, a plane will be waiting at the end of the obstacle course to take her to redacted. Presenter Richard Hammond said he couldn't wait to get filming and was excited to oversee the tensest episode of television he'd ever been involved with since after Jeremy Clarkson punched that producer. Miss Begum said she couldn't be more ready herself and says it feels like she's been training for this her entire life. Disney has declared they're happy for customers to share their Disney Plus account passwords as much as they like. This comes in the wake of Netflix saying that password sharing could be made illegal within months, with extra subscription costs being added for every additional household shared with. Disney has taken a rather different approach by encouraging people to share their passwords with as many people as possible. Spokesperson for Disney said, Yes, share those passwords. Get us into every home, into every room. We want to be everywhere. I want you to see the Disney logo before you go to sleep and it to be the first thing you see when you wake up. A man has had to apply for a mortgage to buy a Freddo. Freddo, a chocolate bar shaped like a frog, has been a staple of British culture and school sweet sellers for years. Unfortunately, due to the ever-rising cost of living, the price of Freddos has risen exponentially. Originally only costing 5p, it then jumped to 10, 15, 20 and then 25. However, this latest jump from 25p to £130,780, roughly the price of a two-bed semi-detached in the north of England, has left a man reeling after he needed to take out a mortgage from Barclays to buy one. He said, "This is surely unsustainable. 25p was bad enough, but now I'm in ridiculous amounts of debt. I eat 3 a week, for God's sake." Rishi Sunak and Keir Starmer shock the nation as they kiss during Prime Minister's questions earlier today. The moment came when a clearly scripted conversation around the new anti-strike legislation played out. Starmer said, "We need something that will bring us together as a nation, but all the Prime Minister, with his soft brown eyes, is intent on doing is dividing us further." Rishi responded, "If only my right honourable silver-haired fox friend understood. We're making the tough decisions, a kiss of life to our public services." Starmer yelled, "Ha! A kiss to our public services when you wouldn't even kiss me." Ooh, went the chamber. "Right, bet," said Rishi. They then both walked round the ceremonial mace and embraced passionately, intermittently kissing for an awkwardly long time, literally over 45 seconds. Ah, went the chamber. The Australian military are currently battling a superpowered radioactive kangaroo that seemingly swallowed the lost radioactive capsule. As of 0600 GMT, the Australian Army, Air Force and Secret Service have been engaged with the creature codenamed Crikey in the outback. The beast, which seemingly found the radioactive capsule dropped by mining company Rio Tinto, has been growing by the hour and now measures over 110 metres tall. Not much is known yet about the superpowers, but it has taken out 2 helicopters with its tail and, spoken in broken English, said, "Now the human race will be roadkill." Rio Tinto have tried to offer it a settlement instead of, as they say, a lengthy drawn-out court battle that could harm both sides, but it ate their lawyer. Rage Against the Machine have finally come out and revealed the machine they were raging against was the HP DeskJet 640C printer. The band, who primarily formed because of the drive to destroy the HP DeskJet 640C printer, has finally admitted they've never actually used the printer themselves, and it was just something that one of their dads used to get angry at. However, Rage Against the HP DeskJet 640C printer that Dad rages against didn't have the same ring to it. In a statement, the band said they were sorry to everyone they let down, although to let us all know that they're back and as ragey as ever, but this time against a new Nespresso machine that one of them has that just won't accept the pods correctly. Rishi Sunak has announced a purge-style idea to help balance the scales between rich and poor. Once a year, one of the richest people in this country will have their name picked from a hat, a very posh hat mind you, and they will be allowed to be hunted for 48 hours by the general public. They cannot leave Britain during this time, and they must survive with only their wits about them and their Amex Gold card. Rishi said he is of course excluded from this as it was his idea and he's the Prime Minister, so he's better than everybody else. Then Rishi said, "Now run peasants, have fun, frolic, play." The first person announced is Michelle Mone. An old man has been found in the wreckage of his house after the US Air Force shot it out of the sky thinking it was a spy balloon when actually it was part of Disney Pixar's new live-action remake of Up. The event occurred over Washington where the unidentified flying object was repeatedly radioed for confirmation before being taken out by an F-16. Unfortunately, the film crew was so enraptured with Anthony Hopkins' performance, who is playing Carl in the film, that they didn't hear the warning messages. Luckily, despite the impact of a missile and falling almost 15,000 feet, no one was seriously injured. One member of the crew said Anthony Hopkins took the fall like a champ, even pausing to comfort me mid-fall, saying, "First time falling in a house 15,000 feet after being hit by a missile, eh?" And then he winked at me. Prince William is in talks with Disney Plus to release his own 7-part expose documentary about the royal family. The Prince of Wales today announced a retaliatory series to combat what he called his brother's outright disgusting, but mostly true, lies. This comes hot on the heels of Harry and Meghan's Netflix show and Harry's new book Spare, which caused a striking blow to their relationship. Prince William has said that the series will be mostly him talking while Kate sits quietly beside him and occasionally does some dishes, as that's how it should be. A statement from a Disney Plus official said, "We're taking sides in this Royal Rumble, and Kate Middleton is the only live-action princess we recognise. Woolworths, it's coming back, people!" That's right, everyone's favourite shop is making the return to British high streets, and it's at just the right time in the market for shops to be returning to the high street. The shopping giant, which at one time had more Instagram followers than the Catholic Church, has been missing from British streets for 14 years, 2 months and 29 days. That is all about to change, and this might be the one thing that makes Britain worth living in again. The CEO of Woolworths has confirmed a return to the golden age of shopping where they'll sell all the same crap but at slightly higher prices. Kim Jong-un has been photographed with Goofy in a reported secret trip to Disneyland in California. The North Korean leader had been secretly papped by TMZ after attending the park over Christmas. This comes just weeks after it was announced that he would trade his nuclear arsenal for a lifetime pass. It seems that after some behind-the-scenes string-pulling, the mouse is finally on board. When Joe Biden was asked about this in his latest press conference, he just winked and said, "Where am I?"